Warning, there will be spoilers for Jaws, Silence of the Lambs, 28 Days Later, Hereditary, The Descent, and Scream. You have been warned.
I have one question before we get started. Can you really trust anyone?
You're asking if we can
I'm
trust
asking,
anyone?
can you really trust anybody out there?
I mean, probably not based on historical information.
I think
Yeah.
situationally.
Right.
Well, the reason I'm asking is I think we're going to find out on today's episode, some reasons why we can't trust a lot of people that maybe we thought we could. So on today's episode of Hear Me Out, the show where we take fictional characters, throw them into hypothetical scenarios, and then react like our lives depend on it. I'm Nicole.
I'm Aileen.
And hello, here we are. And as you may have heard, there's another voice chiming in today, which means we have a very special guest in our midst. We'd like to welcome Scotty Landes to the show. Yay!
Thank
Welcome,
you. Oh my
Scotty.
gosh. Thank you so much for
Yay.
having me. Spoilers. I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to
Woohoo!
have
That's
a
great
ball.
news.
Awesome. Scotty is the co-host of the Bananas podcast alongside his friend Kurt Brownler, as well as a screenwriter and producer of some of our favorites, such as the movie Ma and the show Workaholics. So welcome, Scotty.
Thank you. Oh my
We
gosh,
are
it's a pleasure
so
to be
happy
here.
to have you.
I'm glad you like Ma. It seems like it fits in with the show and this tone.
Absolutely.
It certainly does.
Absolutely. So, Aileen, let's get started.
Well, I got a couple questions before we jump into the movies. What are we watching? What are we excited about? Looking forward to anything coming out?
Ooh, well, I've been on a little bit of a true crime kick. I watched Bodies in the Snow, that Karen Reed doc that I think was on like Apple and Amazon, and then she was found not guilty yesterday. So I was late to it, but I do, after you watch certain fun movies for a while, I do find myself going back and I'll like binge true crime stuff for 2 weeks, a month, and then I go back to the scripted stuff again.
I can relate to that. I just watched the Clown at the Door one that just came out
Ooh.
about the woman who was shot at her front door by a clown.
Yikes.
I
Very
mean,
interesting story.
I understand why you laughed and it made me laugh. It is crazy
It's
that
absurd
is
that
real.
this is real. Yeah.
That's
for
crazy
sure.
town.
Yep.
That's crazy town. Well, timely to our discussion, I am so excited for 28 Years Later, which actually comes out tonight.
Yes. I also am very excited about that.
Yeah, the long-awaited sequel to 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later.
I know nothing. I've avoided
I don't either.
all information about it on purpose.
Me too.
Unfortunately, caught a few glimpses when I wasn't trying to, but
Yes, me too.
I'm really excited to know nothing about this.
Me too.
I will say the one photo I did see that I was actually, it bummed me out just a touch, was they had bows and arrows, and I'm like, no, I don't want it. There's too many movies where the hero has a bow and arrow. We've like, we're peak arrow. We've had
Sure.
too many arrows. But other than that, the first two are so good. I'm sure it'll be dreadful and suspenseful, and I will leave nervous. And hopefully we go another 28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I hope they bring back that iconic song, the song that they kind of play out the end of 28 days and then it begins 28 weeks. I hope they come back because I love that sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's very haunting. And when they run for the helicopter in the second one, they're playing it. It is very signature. I wonder who did that.
I actually know.
What?
I know. I took a bunch of notes. You guys can keep talking and I will just shout it out when I find it.
Okay, well, I'm just going to mention that I haven't watched any more of the recent trailers for 28 Years Later, but that first teaser trailer that they released was perfect, and that is how trailers need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's just a hill I want to die on all the time.
Agreed.
Trailers are a mess.
To show less is what you're saying.
Show less.
Show us nothing.
Less. Show us nothing. I want to know nothing. The First Omen teaser trailer that they did where it was in reverse and just like noise as the audio for it. It's just like, what is happening here? It was perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
And they keep going to those night vision, like when they show scary movie trailers, it's always like the crowds being scared in night vision. And the first time you saw that, I think was for Paranormal Activity. I think that's right, because they were like, how do we drum up fear for this? But now it happens so much, and then I'll go see the movie and wait for that. Like, I'm like, where was that scare? And I'm like, they're just recycling. They're getting the best highlights from all the years, and I'll sit there and be like, oh, I wasn't scared at all. This was not a jump scare movie. It was just sort of It Comes at Night or whatever that movie was, where there's really nothing scary about that entire movie. When it ended, this guy in the theater goes, what the hell was that? And we all started laughing, but they showed like people being like, oh my gosh, and then just nothing happens in that movie. Spoilers.
They'd be better off not showing that footage and maybe people would actually be like, oh, that I find this thing kind of unnerving. But going in with expectations is not always a good thing.
It's the worst. That's what's wrong with app dating, by the way. It's you have so many expectations because it's basically a trailer for each person. And so you go in, you're like, I hope it's like this. And it's instantly not like that.
Right. That guy is named John Murphy, who wrote that theme, which is called, I think, Into the House or something like that.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice. Just
nice.
Nice pull.
Great job, John Murphy.
Great job, John Murphy.
Agreed. Should we get into it?
I think we should get into it.
Agreed.
So another big thing happens this week, which is Jaws turns 50 tomorrow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of weirdly divine.
It holds up.
Yes, of course it holds up. Yeah. I mean, a film class could be taught on all the cool techniques used in that movie. Yeah, I mean, that vertigo zoom, the dolly zoom. I mean, Vertigo did it first, I suppose, but everybody associates it with Jaws.
Yes, that's really true. Also, I think Jaws would stand up even if you put cell phones in it, which so many scary movies suck when you put cell phones in it. But it's kind of funny when they catch that tiger shark, everybody would be just taking photos of it and videos of it to be like, look, it's a big ass shark, but it doesn't really disrupt the movie. Like the phones might not work out on the boat, out on the orca. So you could do Jaws now for the first time and it would still be a deeply unsettling movie.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
definitely.
a good point. That's a good point because a lot of times it's like, wow, this movie's throw this movie in the trash. Yeah, exactly.
FaceTime me. I'm in the woods. I'm right over here.
Exactly.
I think it's appropriate also because, the 4th of July is coming up, and also a capitalist government that cares more about money than people.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. It's apparently in the book he's connected to the mob. I just found that out.
The mayor.
That's why he wants to keep the town open because he's like, I'm in deep. I need the money. She's pretty funny.
It's a great wardrobe.
I did skim an article that just came out. I didn't read it in full, but it's like Richard Dreyfuss is like, after all these years, I was wrong because apparently he's been saying Jaws must be boring because I was so bored making it. Because most of his days were spent just sitting around on a boat. And then he watched it and said, oh, wait, it's actually really good.
Wow.
Thanks, Richard.
What an insane point of view for one of the most famous movies.
Right. But it was so expected to flop. I mean, the cast and everybody was calling it flaws before it even released. I think that, there was constant changes in the timeline, in the budget, in the screenplay. Everybody felt kind of chaotic, I believe, on set. So I can imagine that there was a lot of, come here, it'll be 6 months or 2 months, and then now it's 6 months, and that's probably not making people happy.
True. Also, movies are boring. Like when you're on set, I think the hardest thing for new actors is you may have 2 lines, and it's so exciting, and you're going to be on television, or you're going to be in a movie, but you may sit on set for 2 full days alone in what's called a honey wagon, and you just sit, and the whole idea is be ready. As soon as they knock on the door and they walk you to set, nail your line. So if you're shooting a boat movie, you are just sitting on a boat while they're trying to light it for hours. I mean, honestly, 6 hours, 8 hours. And I watch young actors or people that are extras all the time, and they're always cool because they want to get hired again, and they want you to recommend them again. But it is so much downtime that even for the big guns, even if you're an Academy Award winner, you still have to sit while they light that and dress it and redress it and set it. It just is an absolute waiting game. It's very odd.
Sure, I could definitely see that. Definitely see that.
I found out a kind of cool little thing. The scene that the 11th hour jump scare with Gardner's head that Hooper finds, that was like a last minute decision. Filming was pretty much already done. So Vanna Fields, I think was her name. She was the editor for the movie, and Verna Fields at that time was coming up with a lot of really innovative things. So they filmed that in her pool, like at her house, using milk for cloudiness in the water, and foil should have like shimmery silk type of things in the water just in her backyard.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a great fact.
Thought it was a pretty interesting
That's
one.
really cool.
So that scare is a good scare, and getting in the water at night might be my number one fear. Like being out in the dark ocean, forget it. And Jaws is probably the main catalyst for that fear growing.
Yes, 100% same.
Terrifying.
Yeah, we had a pool growing up, and just that at night, I couldn't, after seeing Jaws. And then just my sister could just go, da-dum, and I would have like a panic attack.
That's the best. That's the best.
Which I think we should move on to Silence of the Lambs, but I have one last thing about that. The score, John Williams did say that the score was supposed to be indicative of the shark's heartbeat, which is another reason it is supposed to be so scary.
It really worked out
It
not
is.
having, the mechanical Jaws work so well. They really had to make you kind of guess and use kind of manipulative tactics to suggest fear and scare. And the scene where you actually can see most of Bruce or Jaws looks like a mechanical shark.
Yeah.
But when you
Yes.
can't see him, it's really scary.
The barrels,
true.
right? The barrels are the scariest thing because it just implies that it's close and that it can keep coming, like nothing can stop it. The barrels are so genius. And man, when I was a kid, my friend's dad told me that wherever a seagull was floating on the ocean, there was a shark underneath it. So when we'd dive through a wave and you come up and there'd be a seagull like floating 5 feet away. And the number of times I'm like, this is it for me. Wrap it up.
no.
I'm done. Like I had a great 8 years. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in those 8 years.
I'm a beast.
I've seen it all. I'm good.
Well, moving on to Silence of the Lambs, just chronologically, what another great one.
It's
What
another great
another-
one. Another Oscar winner, which is hard to do if you're a scary movie.
Five Oscar winner, which is
The
a
big
rare
five.
camp of its own, the big five, but also especially for horror movies. Film, director, lead actor, lead actress, and screenplay.
Damn.
So that's crazy.
It's so good. And also,
so good.
Anthony Hopkins is only on screen for 16 minutes, I think, or 17 minutes.
Yep,
and you're
something like that.
How iconic is that character for 15 minutes of screen time? It is. And also the mask, when he has the mask on the dummy cart or whatever, that's probably only 1 minute, and that is still a Halloween costume. If you go to Halloween Adventure, there's still a Hannibal Lecter. It's crazy how impactful that movie was.
Yes. When you put a quarter in those slide machines at the front of Chinese food restaurants,
Yeah.
and you get those cartoon serial killer stickers,
Yes.
and it's like cartoon Freddy and cartoon Jason. It's always Hannibal Lecter with the mask on.
Oh,
Crazy.
He's in there.
He made
And those
it.
guys have millions of sequels.
And he doesn't yell.
No.
And
he doesn't even move
No,
very
no,
much.
no.
He's quite
His
He's
heart
still.
barely
rate doesn't
moving.
even get above whatever.
And at the end, he just follows that guy, and you're like, damn, it's so That
It's
movie's
great.
awesome. The real reason I love it is I went back and watched it about maybe 6 or 7 years ago when I really started taking scary movies more seriously. And it's the fact that every guy in it stares at Jodie Foster the entire time.
Yes,
The whole
yes.
movie, even the other
Yeah.
cops, even her boss,
Mhm.
everybody's just staring at her.
Mhm.
And so it's a little bit like another one of the movies we're going to chat about where it's like the dread of just being surrounded by men and in a movie where women are getting hurt. You're like, damn, this is so effective to be like, they're all against you. You're a young
Mhm.
woman and it's crazy how scary that movie is before you get to the cannibal and
Right.
I guess just cross-dressing, well-owning lunatic or whatever he is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I have to tell you guys, the first time I saw Silence of the Lambs was probably the year it came out, which was 91, which would have made me like 8. And my mom rented it on VHS, and she would just put on whatever, and with no regard for whatever it was and whatever I was watching. So when Jodie Foster first walks down the hallway to meet Hannibal
Yes.
Lecter, and Miggs, the cellmate, is like doing
Yes.
nasty things and
Mhm,
throwing
mhm.
bodily fluids on her and
Mhm.
telling her despicable things. My mom pauses the film and she's like, "Do you know what all of that means?" And I'm like,
Really?
"No, I'm a child. I do
Yes.
not know what any of that means." And
She
she
explained it.
explains it to me so
Oh.
that I know what it means. So of course the next morning I skip onto the schoolyard and I'm like, "Hi guys, do you know what the word CUNT means?"
Yeah.
And everybody, that's probably why all the parents didn't like it
No.
now that
Most
I'm
popular
thinking
kid
about
on the
it.
playground.
Yeah,
That's
right. It's like,
fine.
Nicole can't come to the Halloween party this year. Why?
Oh my God, ridiculous. Funny fact. So Hopkins really stayed in character the whole time during filming between takes and everything. He was dating someone at the time who dumped him because like couldn't shake him as anything but Lecter. And that person was Martha Stewart.
Is that true?
Oh,
I know.
that's
I had no idea.
insane.
That they
That's
dated.
one of the greatest cinema facts I've ever heard in my entire life.
Me
I've
too.
And I had
And
never
I've
heard that.
never heard that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, that's a good one.
But also, don't you
That's
think
good.
Martha? That's kind of surprising. She's sort of got a Hannibal Lecter
Yeah.
vibe.
She
She's
was probably
very
like,
stoic.
There's only be one.
Probably
she speaks
feeling
very
competitive.
flat. She seems unflappable. Like you wouldn't be totally shocked if she had bodies in those gardens.
No.
Like you wouldn't be completely. You'd be like, yeah, I kind of see it.
I see that for sure.
I
She
like Martha
also
Stewart, by
might-
the way.
Yeah, me too. She also might stab you if you played the wrong note at the
I can
symphony,
see
though,
it.
you know?
That is a great fact. I will be talking
That
about
is really
that
good.
at dinner later.
That is
I'll be like,
really
ooh, I
good.
got a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, can we talk about
great.
the cameos?
Please.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Isaac, which is just why, but okay, awesome. And then George Romero has a little tiny cameo where they're pulling Jodie Foster Clarice away from Lecter when he's holding her finger, I believe. And there's a couple people behind her, and one of them is George Romero. You just get a little blip of his face.
Cool.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
I didn't know that either. I had
I
to
knew
read
that
it.
about Chris Isaac, but I did not know that about George Romero. How
yeah.
exciting.
And then Precious, also known, her name is
Yes, yes.
Darla, was Queenie
Yes.
in The Burbs and the Pink
Yes.
Poodle in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Mm-hmm.
Pretty good
Yep.
run.
Yep.
Pretty good run.
she did.
Big star.
She did great. Yeah.
I wonder if
Very
dogs
well for herself.
have any idea what's happening. Like dogs are smart compared to other animals, but like, does that dog understand any aspect of being on camera?
No.
Like,
I
no,
don't
right?
know.
Like, my dog will watch television, and it like I can tell it's watching TV. It understands it's looking at people or dogs or whatever. It tilts its head and watches some more, and then it goes to commercial, and he loses interest and looks back at me. It's like I wonder if little Darla ever saw itself on the big screen
Meta.
and recognized its own existence. The answer is no,
Yeah,
but
no.
it's fun to think about.
She just liked that she was the center of
It was
attention.
a lot of
Yes.
treats.
That's how my
Yeah,
little
that's
dog is like, I'm wearing clothes
I'm
and you're
pink.
looking at me. I love it. So next up is Scream, 1996.
Yes.
Another genre busting amazing pick.
Yeah. It has more Easter eggs and, little nods to things than I can even keep track of.
I think I might be a tad older than you two ladies, but the era of horror movies that I really grew up with, it was sort of the end of the Freddy and Jason stuff, and Hellraiser, and they're just sequels. We were in sequel world. Even Child's Play was probably on 2 or 3 at the time. It was so many sequels where when I was a kid, all that stuff felt very cartoony. Like even Halloween, the first one's incredible, but after that, they would just crank out Halloween. So I remember those not even being scary to me when I was little, but I do remember seeing Scream in theaters when I was in probably 7th grade or 8th grade, and it was so scary. That opening scene with Drew Barrymore, the phone call scene, it truly saved horror movies. And I've gotten to know Kevin Williamson, the writer, who's now a mega producer writer out here, and it was like his first big film. It was like the first thing he got made, and I told him, I was like, you saved scary movies because they made them fun, and it was self-aware, and everybody was young and hot, and it made it a event watching instead of like, what is it, the Leprechaun 4? No shots fired to Leprechaun 4, but it was a big moment. Like I think the last time I've seen that happen was probably Get Out. Get Out kind of made regular people go see a scary movie again, even if they hate them. And that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
It almost got an NC-17 rating. Wes Craven had to convince people to see the satire in it to even like get it dropped down to an R rating. And he was denied ability to shoot at a local school because he gave them the impression that it was a humorous satire movie, and it is, but it doesn't just blatantly look like that. It looks like straight up a horror film, and that they got really freaked out about that. Actually, in the credits, it says, "No thanks whatsoever to the Santa Rosa City School District Governing Board." I think that, and that's because they denied that.
Crazy.
I like that. Crazy credits. I love it. I guess.
Well, I was going to say, you brought up something to me the other day about Scream and an effect it might have had. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I saw it when I was 12 going on 13. So probably for sure had an effect on my dating life.
Yeah.
Because Billy Loomis is hot.
Definitely.
Stu is hot. I mean, I don't think I learned any lessons from that.
I specifically recall being like, they're hot. I like that. I want that. Not, oh gosh, something's wrong with me. I'm attracted to the killers.
Right.
That's funny. But they really were. And also the scene in the end where they're stabbing each other to make it look like they're victims too. It's very funny. So, I mean, you're kind of relieved at the end, but also how horrific is that? Like, it's like not that far-fetched. So you go, I could see, it was just so ahead of its time. And the cast was like crazy good for a scary movie of that era. The script just must have been insanely good, because even by today's standards, it's like all those people now in their 50s or 60s, all those actors, but back then, like Courtney Cox was a star. David Arquette was a rising star. Matthew Lillard has had an incredible career. They really captured all these. Rose McGowan, she's in it, right? And Neve Campbell was, TV star, but it just made. It was such an assembly that it elevated what could have just been a teenage slasher.
Definitely. And I mean, Drew Barrymore was actually cast as Sydney, and it was her idea to just be in it for that opening bit and then have them cast someone else, which made Neve Campbell who she is. I mean,
interesting. I didn't
gone on to be a franchise star, but yeah, it was originally supposed to be a Drew Barrymore vehicle, and she was huge at the time.
Totally.
So she brought people, and then to have her out in, I don't know, 6 minutes in or something
Amazing.
Like that.
You
What
never
a
saw
shock.
it coming.
What a shock.
So good.
They ended up doing that kind of in some of the sequels too. casting a huge star and taking them out right away. I also think that that's kind of a nod to some other horror movies like, I don't know, Psycho, that gave you the impression that through advertising marketing that this character was part of the movie for the whole thing. And then just blows your mind. So I think that that was a cool little addition to continue with the sequels too.
Yeah, that's a good point. It really did set you off kilter where you feel like nobody's safe. And that's always the most fun type of scary movie.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite things, tropes, maybe even when you sort of switch protagonists. And when it's done in a neat way. I don't know, Scotty, if you've seen the movie Mads. It's a French zombie movie. It's MADS, but the S is capital. It came out in 2024. They have a very cool way of sort of handing off the story.
I don't think I have. Oh, it's on Shudder? Oh, I'm going to absolutely watch this if I haven't.
It's so good.
I just keep seeing photos of Mads Mikkelsen, who I also love
right.
very much.
right.
But, I can't wait. This looks great.
Yeah, and it's not giving anything away. I think it's neat going into it, knowing the entire movie is done in one take. And it's not a fakie, it's actually done in one take.
That's cool. I will check it out. That sounds perfectly up my alley.
It is really cool.
Which, I don't know, maybe that's a great segue into our next film, which is 28 Days Later, which is also a zombie film.
Awesome movie. I
mean,
just
so good.
High speed zombies that weren't like where the change was so instantaneous. It's like not only were they running at you just absolutely frenetically and terrifyingly, but like if you got a drop of blood in your mouth and your eye and a cut, whatever, you turned in like 10 seconds. And I think that elevated it to zombie movies got boring. And then Dawn of the Dead had running zombies, and 28 Days Later, 28 Days Later had running zombies. But up until that point, I never liked zombie shit. I always thought it was so boring.
Sure.
I'd like, I just run away and shoot him in the head. It just feels like weird, like wish fulfillment for gun nuts or something.
Right.
Yeah. The relentlessness of the running zombies is so scary.
Yeah, that was my first time seeing a zombie movie where it chilled me to the bone. I was terrified.
Yeah.
Hadn't had that experience. I love zombie movies. They're for what they are, but yeah, this was a whole different thing. But to be fair, these aren't zombies. They're not undead. They're infected.
That's true.
That's
true.
They're right. And also just it covers a lot of scary bases because waking up in an abandoned city knowing nothing. I mean, my God, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
No.
And then to have people bloodthirsty running at you too.
Yeah, it would be so disorienting and horrifying. And then was The Walking Dead were the graphic novels first because Rick wakes up in a hospital. It's like the same thing, right? Where you're in a hospital.
It's the exact same thing.
That's weird. That's a little lame.
Right. So I actually heard that 28 Days Later came out at the beginning of 2002, and the first graphic novel came out in the fall of 2002. So the idea was actually original to both creators kind of at the exact same time.
Cool.
But because 28 Days Later came out first, everyone's like, The Walking Dead ripped it off.
Oh.
Which it just sucks because it seems like they did, but it sounds like it all just, that idea was just sort of in the air.
And the idea of rabies is like the scariest thing. And I know this is a little different from that, but the idea of like rabid humans is so frightening. And the church scene, because I saw this one in theaters too, without really knowing much about it. And when he goes in the church and makes the noise, and then the dead ones in the pews like look up at him and start running, it was that's like a top 10 scary scene for me, and maybe all scary movies, because it was during the day, it was in a church, and he's like weak from a hospital, and then you're like, well, what would you do? Like, I love those sort of, when you put yourself in that position for an instant, it is just so terrifying when that one looks up at him and just starts coming for him. That's crazy.
He says hello every time he's in a place where he shouldn't. He just goes hello, and then these infected people are just instantly drawn to him. He's a mess.
Yeah, shut up,
He's
dude.
just desperate to find someone that isn't
Yes.
infected.
He's just so polite.
Yeah,
That
it's
Cillian
really
Murphy,
polite.
just so polite. He's just so polite. He has to introduce himself. Hello.
So friendly. So, some interesting things that happened. I thought it was really cool. They shot the majority of the movie on a handheld digital to give it that kind of gritty homemade style, and then switched at the end to the 35 mil when they're feeling that freedom. They're starting to feel hope again.
Yes.
I thought that was a really neat, way to show that. Feels really found footagey in the beginning.
That's true. It really does, doesn't it? That's cool.
Yeah, they used
You can really feel it.
multiple cameras that were they're much smaller, so easy to maneuver, and they were kind of everywhere. And I guess the idea was, we're always on camera, and when we live in a city, there's cameras everywhere. And
Yes.
the idea was maybe some of this footage is just what those cameras from those angles, which I think was really
That's great.
unique way to do it.
Yeah. I know in the second one they used some CCTV footage more, and that I always thought that would be interesting, just to watch a whole movie that only takes place on CCTV footage. You have to piece it all together.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And I did see a movie. It might have been on one of the VHSs where a guy riding a mountain bike with a GoPro gets bitten by a zombie, then turns into a zombie. So the whole thing is from the GoPro.
Ooh.
Fantastic idea. I was like, perfect idea.
That was in most recent VHS too with
Really
aliens.
fun.
They were skydiving. Yeah. Really
So
cool.
good. Oh yeah, that was
Mhm.
great too. It's
Mhm.
so fun.
Yeah. It's really scary because you're with
Yeah.
them being like, what's around this corner? Ah!
They're getting creative, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Those movies are never getting huge. Like, it's funny because Shudder does such a good job of it's the best. I love Shudder, but like those are just production movies, right? Where we're making a choice. We're going to follow the killer the whole movie instead, or Presence, that new ghost haunting movie, Presence. It's like, what if it's the point of view of the ghost? That's all great, but for some reason, people still like to go to a movie theater and see the monster coming towards them and try to run away from it, and that just never goes away.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
just an inborn fear.
Yeah. It's spooky. Well, Aileen, do you want to play our zombie game?
Sure. Do you want to hear something else kind of interesting real quick? So
Yes.
that scene with the overturned double-decker is on Downing Street. I guess that's where the prime minister or somebody important resides. So
Mhm.
they couldn't get, they weren't allowed to shoot there. They couldn't, obviously, for obvious reasons. They showed up at 4 a.m. The guy who designed that whole part was like, I can get it in and out in 15 minutes. And they did.
Cool.
They dropped it at 4 a.m.,
Wow.
filmed it real quick, and picked it up and drove away.
Nice. Nice.
Impressive.
That's awesome.
That is.
That is
Anything
great.
for the shot.
Damn.
Yes.
Also, I love when the collecting rainwater on the roof and there's a laundry basket like with just all holes. It's so
Yes.
funny.
Yeah.
It kind of shows the sweetness. And the dad, whose name I can't think of right now, he is very we're doing fine, trying to stay hopeful. And there's a basket collecting rainwater. I just thought that was funny. And
Yes.
also, when I was watching that, I was like, oh yeah, that movie we watched recently, another one I would suggest called The Night Eats the World. And there's a nod where he goes up to the roof and is collecting rainwater in that fashion. But we did talk about that movie on a different episode, and it's worth
Cool.
checking out.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. That is a funny detail. I'm like, oh, you get a sip out of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess better
Right.
than nothing if it hasn't rained in 10 days.
Maybe better for catching birds or something, but we'll go with it. We'll go with
Right.
it.
Cool. Yeah, let's play the game.
Okay, so we play a game called I'm Trapped in a Fucking Car ABCs.
Great.
So I don't know if you've seen the movie The Battery. It's also a zombie movie.
Maybe.
It's about two guys and they're baseball players, which a
No.
battery is a
Catcher.
pitcher-catcher combination. Didn't
Okay.
know that till I saw that movie. They're trapped in the car. So they play the I wish I had this.
I'm trapped in a fucking
stuff,
car, and I wish I
ABCs.
had.
Yeah.
And they go
Yeah.
in order of ABCs. We've been playing. What are we on now?
Let's see.
I think
A, B, C, D, E, F,
Well,
G.
you have
I think
G,
we're on-
maybe we. But you got to
G.
start because
Oh,
I
shit.
did the.
All right. We also have to
Yeah.
recall the last ones. I'm trapped in
I
a
know.
fucking car, and I wish I had air conditioning. Was
Oh,
that
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Batteries.
Yep.
A charcuterie board. That was her.
Nice. Smart.
Yep.
Meats and cheeses for the win. Yeah.
Was it me? I think my dog was my next one.
That's
Yeah.
Okay, is this right? Every single nail file in your house, in Nicole's house.
Yeah.
And then
Very useful. You could do a lot of things
yeah,
with that.
not wrong.
That's right.
And then the last one was fireworks. So
right.
Got a
G.
signal for help.
Yes,
Or maybe
and also just
scare
fun.
the
There was-
zombies.
Or
There's
just have
definitely a
fun.
sunroof in that car. So G. My, oh my God, I was not prepared at all. I can't bring any more like explosive. Gin, I'm bringing gin.
Oh, nice.
That's such a good answer. Especially with all the other things you already listed.
It's a party
you
in that
get a little
car.
gin in there. You're giving that dog a pedicure so quick. You are having a ball. Yeah, and if it
That's
likes
right.
it, you'll what do you do when you get drunk? You light some
Definitely
fireworks.
lighting fireworks.
That's right.
That is such a good one. G.
You could switch to H if you want. We can go GHI or that's kind of what we've been doing now. But if you have a good G one, shout that out.
Oh, okay. I'm happy to do whatever you want me to do. G. God, gin is so good. Well, gum. I would want chewing gum because if it's
Smart.
me and somebody else in there and we're not brushing our teeth, give me some spearmint gum, and that's just a polite thing for when we need to have a close talk.
I completely agree with
It's
that.
really smart. I mean, pretty close talks being trapped in that fucking car together.
Kind of useful. You can use it as sort of like a putty or a sticky thing.
Totally. Okay, I'm gonna go to H, and I'm gonna say, I'm trapped in a fucking car, and I want air conditioning, batteries, charcuterie board, Millie the dog, every nail file, fireworks. Already got gin and gum and helium, so we can do funny voices.
It's a good one.
You got to keep it light.
Yeah.
You might be in there
Yeah.
for a long time. It took 28
For
years
sure.
apparently to get rid of these.
Right.
Who needs practical things to actually try to
Exactly.
get out?
Exactly.
Just make a good
I think
time.
I'd go for I think I'd go ice maker. I'm sure they have one that
nice.
plugs into the cigarette lighter,
genius.
and
Perfect.
that gin's not going to cool
No, it
itself.
certainly
I'm
is
telling you
not.
right
Oh,
now.
You can't get to
smart.
tea fast enough, guys. I'm gonna need some tonic.
Yeah, you got. If you have, a sore tooth, you can ice it. If a zombie punches you and doesn't get to bite you, you might just need to put a little ice on something. Plus, it's water when you need it. So I'd go portable ice.
That's
maker.
genius.
If you get stung by a little bee, you can ice your little bee sting.
That's right. Too
So-
close to home. Topical.
I'm so sorry.
No.
All right, well, that's good. We usually do a round of 3, so that is perfect.
Perfect.
For
I like that.
That was awesome. And I think we should talk about The Descent, which is
Ooh,
our next film,
great movie.
which is super, super
So
scary.
Yeah.
2005, The Descent. 5 women go spelunking. And when I first saw The Descent, that's all I knew about it.
Me
and
too.
that was scary
Mhm.
enough.
Me too.
Yep. Underground. That's enough.
Mm-mm.
I didn't.
Thank you.
I don't consider myself claustrophobic, but I think now I'm so afraid of getting stuck in a little cave, and I don't. I'm not going underground ever. I promise. But I'm still very afraid I'll get stuck in a cave.
Yeah, I've never been claustrophobic. The first time I saw that movie, when Sarah's the last one crawling through that bit
Mm.
and it starts to collapse,
Mm.
I genuinely asked myself, can I finish this movie? Because
Agreed.
I'm not sure I can do this.
Agreed.
It really, really scared me.
Very unsettling.
Yes, it is. It's one of the rarest movies. A little bit like being stared at when you're Clarice Starling is like it is the claustrophobia that makes this such an elevated movie, because the wildlings, the animals or whatever, the humanoids that they have to deal with are definitely terrifying and scary in a different way. But to me, it's like I'd rather fight one of those than be stuck shoulders and arms against my body
For sure.
underground in a tunnel. Like,
Yeah.
man, that movie is so effective. And for aspiring screenwriters out there, you can learn how to write a horror movie by pausing it after every scene and writing your version of it, because it is beat for beat exactly how they teach you to write screenplays. To
Yeah.
the second, actually. Like, I think when you see the first, when they strike the flare and you see the humanoid underground thing standing behind her, I think that's like exactly at the midpoint, like minute 55.
Wow.
So
Wow.
they introduce a cold open that's terrifying. You start your hero at
Yeah.
an extremely low point where they don't want to go on, they don't want to live, and then she literally crawls to her freedom for survival. Like, it is a yeah. If you are an aspiring screenwriter, you can learn how to write a movie from watching this movie and just pausing and thinking after every scene.
Scotty, what ending? Did you know that there's 2 endings?
I did know that.
Which one? Have you seen them both?
I think so. What is the second ending?
So which one have you seen?
I've seen her crawling to freedom and coming out of the ground and surviving, and nothing chases her.
Right, and then she's in the car and
Yes.
sees a flash of Juno and is scared.
Yes.
Okay, so in the UK ending, which is apparently the actual original ending, she wakes back up and she's actually still underground. And
Yes.
what has happened is she's fallen, and that was a delusion or whatever. She wakes back up, she's still underground, and another vision, which we see throughout the movie, of her daughter and the birthday cake, appears, and then the candle blows out, and that's the end. So she's screwed.
I have seen that, and
Yeah.
I prefer the American ending, but maybe because they could have done better with the sequel. The sequel's fine. Yeah, I like
haven't
that
seen
it's
it.
connected. I do like that a lot, but they could have done a "we got to go back in there" sequel. Like, somebody's still alive, and then you're like, oh
Mhm.
God, now what is that person like? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think The Descent is. How old is it now? 20 years old or so? It's a modern
this year,
classic to me.
Mhm. I think so too. So that leads me to a would you rather that I have, which you've sort of alluded to this, but would you rather be in the water with a great white shark? Nothing happens, but it's there, and you are in the water, you're not in a boat. Or would you rather be 2 miles underground in a cave and something runs by, but you're not quite sure what it is?
Well, I think I'd rather be in the ocean.
I'm agreeing
Yeah.
with that.
I
think so,
understand
too.
how the ocean works, and I'm good at swimming. So I'm probably better at swimming than I am at not having a panic attack 2 miles underground.
Yeah,
And I don't know how to spelunk or climb. I don't know how to tell, and I don't think anybody does. I don't think you know which way is up. So
I don't know anything about what lives underground. I have a little bit of an understanding of sharks, and that they don't usually attack. That's a fluke that happens, despite what Joss has taught us. So I would
Yes.
feel much safer in the ocean trying to avoid the shark.
There's openness. A plane might see you. A boat on the horizon could see you. You can bop them on the nose. I mean, yeah, the cave is.
I think somebody punched a shark. Isn't that a viral video? Someone actually punched
I think
a
it
shark.
happens all the time. I listen to a lot of wildlife podcasts, and people avoid shark attacks frequently. So
yeah,
it's
it
possible.
seems like you have a chance in the ocean, even though you don't. It seems like you have a chance. No, though, every death you hear about underground, like when somebody's stuck upside down or gets turned around or whatever, it's like, yeah, we couldn't get to him.
Right.
Nothing we could do.
Yeah,
And you're like,
right.
you could listen for a helicopter or a boat or a wave runner or a kayak or anything or a friendly
Yeah.
whale.
Yeah,
But
right,
if you're
exactly.
underground, it is you, and damn, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Very scary.
So glad we all agree on that one.
I did think that it was really cool that the movie was exclusively lit with their headlamps, flares, glow sticks. I think that's about it, right? A torch, maybe. That was really unique. And then it is worth noting that the filmmakers, 2 men, had the most say in this, creating this film, and took guidance from the women in their lives to make this movie not your typical horror movie with the way it objectifies women. And apparently some of the producers were kind of pushing for them to do things like, oh, why doesn't everybody just skinny dip in this scene? And they were able to, effectively make the movie without succumbing to that kind of pressure, which was important.
Great. Yeah.
Definitely. It feels like it could also be a beloved piece of like lesbian cinema too, because several of those characters are lesbians and they're tough and they're badass and they have like some of them feel like heroes, even though some of them aren't heroes. But I wonder if it is. I'll have to ask. I'll have to ask my friends because it is so unique. And I think other writers and directors have tried to do their version of it. It's The Descent, but it's blank. It's Descent, but it's space. Something about the underground and like that it's supposed to be fun, and then where they're all sort of, some are shitty to other ones and some are sweet, but yeah, the affair story is really smart and good. It's all just really good because you're like we said, can you ever actually trust anyone? It's like in that group you can't, and that's even scarier.
Very scary. Yeah, it's hard.
The skull on the cover, I was intrigued by that because I had just researched the skull on the cover of Silence of the Lambs. And it comes from a Salvador Dali photograph called In Voluptas Mors. It's 7 naked women styled in such a way to look like a skull. And it's so obvious that The Descent is taking their image from that as well. And I thought, again, these are just the way everything connects. These are just essential movies to study, kind of. They do connect a lot.
Definitely.
Let's move on to Hereditary.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Which is our final film, 2018.
Man.
Another great one.
That is a shocker. That one just caught me so off guard. It was the scariest one I've seen, and I don't even know how long. It's the last movie I can think of that actually was scary.
Yeah.
Maybe The Ring before that. But like, it's so rare that I am like, what? And that had like 5 of those. Crazy movie.
Yeah.
People are lurking in the movie and you just catch glimpses of them. The
yuck.
Levitating, the banging your head on the attic door. It's the most I've ever felt unsettled watching a movie, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Ari Aster did himself a huge disservice making that his first movie, because it is impossible to beat that as a horror movie. For him, somebody else will come along and do something great, but it's just so. And Toni Collette should have gotten. I'm not exaggerating. Should have gotten an Academy Award. Like
100%.
What she does 100%. In that movie is so intense,
it's
and
incredible.
The camera is smashed to her face, like extreme close-ups in so many scenes, and she's so mean, and she's so scary, and Gabriel Byrne is like, they did a great job of making him almost a nothing character. Like he's almost doesn't even need to be there at all.
Right.
It is a friend of mine is a comedy writer, and she sort of got an offer to write horror movies, and she's afraid of scary movies. So that's perfect. And she's like, I'm starting to watch horror movies starting tomorrow, Scotty. I was like, great. And she's like, I'm starting with Hereditary. And I'm like, do not. And she's like, why? I'm like, don't
never
start
go back
with that, because it's so, you can't beat it. It's so crazy to start with that. Like, honestly, start with like Tremors. Start with Tremors. Something that's a little scary, but also pretty fun. And start with Ghostbusters. A little scary, fun. But yeah, to start your journey through horror movies with Hereditary is the boldest choice you can make.
It's very crushing.
It was my first date with my husband. Yeah,
Whoa.
we were like, the theater collectively just was like, okay. When it ended, and we were like, I gotta go. Like, I don't think I can hang out with you anymore. I have to process.
I'm not turned on.
No. That's how it worked. So.
The headless guy bowing did not do it for me. It's a really smart movie too. If you watch it, like, I've probably seen it 4 or 5 times now. I miss so much. The first one, the connectiveness, even the King Payman and sort of all of it. It's so well organized that the second time I watched it, I had forgotten completely about when she visits the other woman who talks to her dead child with the glass that moves around. I had forgotten all of that. And it's obviously such a big part of the plot. But I guess I was just so upset. Like her smashing her head on the attic, her crawling on the walls, the little girl in the corner, or the grandmother, the head falling off. All that stuff was like intense. Even him smashing his face until he breaks his nose. You're like, that movie is pure rated R horror movie 10 out of 10 for me.
It was supposed to. He wrote it original, or was the idea was a dark drama about loss and grief, and then turned it into a horror concept. Oh, another cool thing about the desk scene. The wolf really wanted to break his nose. He was asking, Ari asked her if he could break his nose. And he was like, no, we're going to put a cushion on the desk. It'll be fine. And he did. So he used the cushion, but he missed part of it and dislocated his jaw in the actual scene.
Oh, no. Whoa.
He's a good actor. I like that.
Yeah,
guy.
I like that kid.
He's really talented.
Or adult man. I don't know why. He just always came to me.
So good.
Yeah, he's great. He's so good in that. That movie is deeply. It is. Now I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it this weekend again. It's something about it because when I watched Midsummer, I don't think Midsummer's scary at all. I actually think it's a comedy. I think that's like a dark comedy. And I laughed in the theater, and I think I was ruining the movie. And I was not trying to, but I'm like, you guys don't think this scene is funny? And the open with Florence Pugh is so intense in that, not to switch movies, but like I was like, oh, he's carrying it over. Okay, here we go. Like, this is the guy that did Hereditary. Now it's going to be about this kind of grief. And then I just was like, no, this is a comedy.
Apparently,
a weird comedy, but it's not a scary movie.
The Swedes seem to think it's a comedy too. They're like, why is everybody so scared of this? It's very funny.
And then Beau is Afraid is scarier than Midsummer because Beau is Afraid, you're just like, you're afraid, is this never going to end? This movie is the most stressful 3 hours of anybody's life. And
I haven't gotten into it yet because that's what I've heard. I've heard it's just you've got to be ready to be anxious for 3 hours. And
I laugh.
I don't want it.
But
Ari Aster's really good at making films about processing emotions. That's what his theme is how humans deal with trauma. And I mean, I think it's kind of cathartic, scary as hell. And I had to process it before I even realized that it was kind of cathartic to think about it in a way of, because I was convinced going into it that it was a movie about these people who have a history, their family has a history of mental health issues, and they're delusional as a result. I was not really expecting all of that. I thought it was all going to come out that she was crazy, and she is, but that was definitely a real, actual haunting cult.
Yes, the cult is so good. It's
so
all
good.
So good. He connected it crazy. The high school scene when the sister gets her head lopped off. I did not see it coming at all.
Yeah, but they're telling you the whole time. There's cues constantly that you could, in most of the movies we're talking about, that are telling you what's about to happen.
And Hereditary is another great example of, you start out thinking Charlie's going to be one of the main characters, or this story is going to be centered around Charlie, and you're like a third of the movie or a quarter through the movie when she hits that pole.
Yeah.
And the movie Hereditary, I did not see it in the theaters. It was actually, the ending of it was spoiled for me, but that was not. So even though I kind of knew what was coming, I didn't know what was leading up to it. So
even when he floats up into the treehouse, it's just all
oh my gosh, it's crazy,
weird. The whole
it's super
movie,
strange.
You never get used to it either. All these other ones we're talking about, the more you watch them, you kind of start to see them as movies. And that one, you're like, what was this dude up to? Like, where did this come from?
There's nothing on screen or mentioned that isn't 100% necessary and thought out.
Yes,
and that's wild because mise en scène or whatever, that's his thing.
Yeah.
And I'm learning these things in school a little myself, so I'm watching movies differently to try and keep an eye out for these things. And it's still, there's just so much. I couldn't imagine how much time he devoted to all those little details.
Yeah, and you can only do it if you're the writer-director. It's impossible for that to work if you're a director with somebody else's script, or if you're a writer and you put it in, a director won't get it. It has to be like such a singular vision to carry that out, and for that to be his like breakthrough film. I'm going to watch it this weekend. It's still upsetting, which is just so rare. It's so rare.
Yeah. I have one more question. I know, Scotty, you don't have much time left, so I have one more question that's related to all of this. It's not so much a would you rather, but it's of all of these things we've been discussing, what do we think is scarier? individually. What do we each think is scarier? Forces of nature. So we've covered sharks or caves, just caves in general. Killers. So we've got slashers, serial killers, or stalkers of, any variety. Or supernatural forces, demons and zombies. We've covered a lot of bases today. So in general, in real life, if you were to run into any number of these things, what would you find to be the scariest?
My answer is definitely killers. And I think people that become obsessed or fixated on somebody, it's the scariest thing in the world. I am not afraid of anything paranormal. I've always wanted to see a ghost. I've always wanted to see aliens. I've always wanted to see cryptids. I don't believe in demons. So for me, as scary as a shark or a snake or a whatever it is, or weather or volcano, I guess out here a giant earthquake, I don't really walk around scared of that, but I do lock my doors every single night because people are insane. And sometimes you can just sit and go, I wonder how many times in my life I've walked past somebody in a mall or a grocery store or a Target and they were a serial killer, and you go, has it ever happened? Has it happened 25 times? Like, it is a fascinating thing to say, like, they're out there and they look like you and me, but then the machinery is different.
I agree. They don't think that forces of nature, animals aren't sadistic. They're just trying to survive too. And also those things generally don't have, like, you're not living in fear of them. They just kind of happen and then you're dead. Or hopefully it happens fast. Supernatural forces, I agree with Scotty. I think they're kind of fun. I'm fascinated with it. I like paranormal investigation. I haven't call myself a hopeful skeptic because I've never had something that I could say one way or another, but I'm always looking for it. And I don't believe in bad demon things. Killers exist. No. They are sadistic. We've seen it. I think the scariest shit I've ever heard are true crime stories.
Definitely.
Scary men doing scary, scary things. It's living in that fear is realistic and smart, I think, to be aware of.
Yes.
What about you, Nicole?
Same. I mean, the big popular question last year was, would you pick running into a man or a bear in the woods? And that was sometimes funny, sometimes contentious on the internet, but like, for real, I think most people genuinely said, and not to be argumentative or whatever, I think genuinely most women feel safer running into an animal because a lot of times they're full or they're not interested or whatever. Anything can happen. You never know what to expect.
I feel like a wild animal isn't going to call you out for not making eye contact with it or smiling at it while you walk by. They probably would rather you not acknowledge it.
It's not going to lie to you for sure. It's not going to say like, "Oh, go that way. That's the end of that's the shortest way back to the parking lot," and then you fall into a pit and you're like, "Oh, okay." I'm not. That's so funny. In a cinematic world, I'd be the most afraid of the paranormal thing. In real world, certainly.
People,
humans of all shapes and sizes are just
the theme of the show is that no one can be trusted.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, I got a fun question. Aside from Jaws, which of these movies do you think would make the most fun theme park ride?
Well, The Descent, if you had an underground roller coaster in tunnels and there were things that jumped out when you kind of cut through and the lights came on, The Descent would be an incredible underground roller coaster. Incredible. I'm pretty.
That's a really good choice.
That's great. That's a great one. I was thinking Hereditary. You just have to like dodge poles and make sure you stay out of the tree house. Don't go in the tree house.
I like that one. I kind of like the idea of a 28 days later ride, somehow narrowly escaping the zombies is always fun.
You have to change a tire super, super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool too. Yeah, like a roller coaster that breaks down or slows
Right,
down and it's
right, right.
breaking
that's
down
so
and they get
scary.
closer, then goes
Ew,
faster.
yeah.
How isn't that real? How isn't there a horror movie permanent
Right.
amusement park? That feels like a gold mine. Universal, they're a bunch of buffoons.
Trademark.
Yeah, Blumhouse. Open the Blumhouse official amusement park, because combining that fear, a roller coaster where they had holograms of 28 Days Later rabid people running towards you.
Ooh, do you remember the shadows
Yeah,
in
that'd
the
be great.
tunnel when they are changing that tire?
Yes.
They're all darting
The
in
rats
different
start running.
directions.
The rats
Oh,
are
that would be
coming.
really
Ooh.
scary. Yeah, I want to do this, right?
That would be scary.
Yeah, that
Oh,
would be so
That's a good one.
Fun.
That's
Damn.
a good one. Great. Well, Scotty, thank you so much for joining us today. This was really fun.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
This was a great
Thank you.
time.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
What are you up to? What do you got
Oh my
coming
gosh.
out? Anything exciting?
Yeah, they're making Ma 2, so that'll shoot this year, and I think it'll actually be out this fall. I'm not writing it, I'm just producing it, which is great. But it's the same Octavia character, and it's an extension of my movie, so it's a true sequel as far as I can tell. And then I have a horror movie that is called Heads, and we're shooting that in Pittsburgh in November and December, so that should be probably out, I would guess, next May or June, which is exciting. And then that's sort of it on the scary stuff front. And then I have a rom-com called Thick that is about a football player who gets injured and becomes a plus-size male model. And it's sort of like a Tommy Boy reverse Pretty Woman, where it's the woman is the agent, she's smart and savvy and sophisticated, and he's a big hayseed who doesn't. So it's a classic rom-com. That should be in theaters probably next summer, I would guess. So that's
Fun.
it. And then I just write dumb stuff every day and hope to sell scary movies all the
That's
time.
awesome.
Great. And Bananas Fest is in
Oh.
October, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
podcast, Bananas, we do a festival on October 4th in Denver, Colorado from noon to 5. It is a celebration of all things silly and absurd. We did one last year and 5,000 people came, including probably 3,000 dressed as bananas.
So fun.
And it is absolutely, if you are anywhere near Denver or you're just really bored of life right now and you want to do something fun, come. It's free. There's performances, there's silly stuff in every direction, food and beer, and it's just the best. But yeah, October 4th, Bananas Fest 2, and it's the best. It's in Denver, Colorado. So please join us.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Scotty, and thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you, Nicole, and thanks, Sky. It was great talking to you.
Joy was mine. Thank you.
And thanks, Aileen.
Thanks for listening,
Thanks for listening.
and
everybody.
tune in again.
Please. Bye.